What's good? What's good? More content on the way for y'all here. In this one, I'm just gonna talk about be cognizant of the model that your parents set forth. So, one thing that may be consciously or subconsciously guiding your life is the model of your parents. And when you're younger, this is inevitable. But as you get older, you have to choose consciously if this is what you want for yourself or not. I see it all around me, to be honest. People unknowingly doing exactly what their parents did, and their parents encouraging it. So this is not necessarily a bad thing, but just be aware of it. So I was doing this myself up until I was 22 years old, so about a year and a half ago. My mom was a nurse, and I was trying to become a pharmacist. My dad was a manager, and I was looking to become a manager myself. My dad married my mom in his late 20s/early 30s, and my mom was in her late 20s. They started having kids around this time as well. My parents are both Democrats politically, etc. I do live in California, so a lot of people, at least around the bigger cities, are Democrats. In the more rural areas, they tend to be Republican. Personally, I don't know if I fall into either of those camps. There are many other things that they influenced on me. Obviously, they're my parents, right? But I'll just leave it there. So be aware of this model as you move forward in life. Obviously, personally, I'm currently MGTOW, so it's clear to see that I had some issues with this model. Issues might be kind of a strong word, but yeah, we'll just say issues with the model. So this is not to say I'm not fully appreciative of my parents, because I did have a good childhood, a great childhood actually, and they supported me fully in what I did up until I was 22 years old. So notice how I was following the model up until I was 22 years old also. So I thank them for that. I'm 24 right now, so it's only been a couple years since they haven't been really supportive of my actions. Let's just say that. So in general, let's just discuss society now and the parents of current Gen Xers, Millennials, and the upcoming Gen Zers. So remember that a lot of the production was outsourced during the workforce lifetimes of these parents. A corporate office job and a corporate ladder to climb was viewed as part of a generally successful life. Because of this, many of our parents were eventually managers of some sort, and they were used to a hierarchical corporate setting. This model was also pushed into public schools because it was a standard model. Why argue with the standard model? What's good for adults should surely be good for children, right? That was the thought. This model even worked its way into colleges and universities. But that's a story for another time. That's a long story for another time. Along with all this stuff, many people grew up with divorced parents. So think about this model. Somewhere between 40 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce. And that's an underestimate according to a lot of people. A lot of people, maybe you've seen this in other MGTOW content, they say this number is actually higher. I like to be optimistic, so I'm just going to go with 40 to 50%. So what about the economy and money creation and money allocation during this time of our parents? Our parents got used to an increasing wealth gap, increasing inflation throughout their lifetimes, and increasing dependence on the stock market and the returns from it to combat this inflation. Remember that the stock market, and also let's add to that, the increasing inflation on the prices of their homes. So remember that the stock market is simply part ownership in public companies traded around between citizens and government entities, as well as other companies over time. So during our parents' lifetimes, they also saw and got used to the increasing financialization of many assets outside of the stock market, and this is also including their homes. So remember that inflation is just an increase in the money supply. So if you increase that money supply, everything that's valued in that currency also goes up. So the price of your home goes up, the price of college tuitions go up, the price of your stock market assets go up. So the price of basically of everything priced in that currency, if you print more of the currency, goes up. So if you print more of the currency and you don't have more things that are also priced in this currency, then the prices go up. So if you want to print a certain amount of money, let's just say, you have to create a certain amount of different things that are also priced with that currency. If you don't have a certain amount of new things created to soak up the new amount of money in the system, you have the same number of things in the system, but more money in the system. So what's going to soak up the increased money in the system? It's going to be soaked up by the current number, which is the same number of things in that system. So now this means the price of things go up because the money goes up. So if there's nothing new and you keep creating more money, the current price of things that are already there keeps going up. And if there's nothing new created, you have new people that are going to be attempting to get the same things as the older people who have a certain amount of things, and then their amount of things is going up, if that makes sense, because more money was created, but those people didn't create new things. So if you're not aware of money creation and things like, to be honest, even if you didn't learn about money creation, I think that on just a basic level is understandable enough. You don't even have to know about the Federal Reserve or government bonds or anything like that to just simply understand that if you have the same pool of things, if you have 5 apples and let's say you have 5 apples and you have $5 and you say each apple is worth $1. If you then print another $5 and you put that into the same system and you don't have any more apples, you still have 5 apples, then every apple is now worth $2 instead of $1. And yeah, you don't need to know about anything, you don't need to know about Federal Reserve or anything else to understand that. So that's why I'm trying to create some new stuff. So we'll end it there for now. There are other things we can discuss, like exponential growth, which you may have seen a little bit on this channel. and government competing in the private sector. But that can be, we can go over that in other videos if you guys are interested in things like that. So overall, this is the societal model that we are inheriting. If you're a Gen Zer or a late millennial like myself, born in 96, this is the model that we're inheriting. So as men going their own way, we can see that there's something odd about it, and you can tell from the way I speak and the examples I use. I think that inflation is the thing that's wrong, but to be 100% honest, your guess is as good as mine as to whether we're onto something or not, whether it's inflation or whether it's something else. I just have my own perspective based on my own history and my own biases, etc. So your guess is as good as mine as to whether we're onto something or not. In my opinion, let's just keep learning and breaking things down for now. Not breaking them down in terms of setting stuff on fire, but just breaking it down in terms of trying to understand what has happened before us, what has happened also during our lifetimes, but maybe before we were cognizant of the world structure as we're cognizant of it now. And also just human history and biology in general. Let's just break these things down and attempt to understand them. The more we understand these things, the more that our agency increases, and maybe perhaps the more we can be able to build different systems or new systems if you think that this is necessary. And obviously with my bias, given what I explained, I do think that some new systems are necessary, just because if you're going to inflate the currency this much, there has to be new things to move toward for the new people. Or else you might have the old people and the new people fighting for the same things, which just, if there's not enough of those things, then you get strife, and then you can call it race, you can call it class, you can call it native born versus immigrants, you can call it men versus women, you can call it any number of different things, but I think it comes down to simple, very simple. If you increase the value of something arbitrarily by not creating more stuff, but just creating more value notes, if that makes sense. So creating more abstraction without creating actual real stuff, then that you just end up abstracting on more and more things without creating real stuff. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Hopefully that was interesting actually, because I enjoyed discussing that. So yeah, there it is. Alright, peace out guys, stay healthy, have a good day.